I'm not Buddy Emmons. I'm a different person. And so I would put it in a different context and it would totally change it. But at the same time, it's fusing with everything that is within me already. Sorry, I forgot what your question was.
No, it was great. It was great. Hello, people of the world. Welcome back to another episode of Sam's Sessions. As always, it's a special day here at South Austin Music when we do these episodes. To my right today, we got Cat Clemons. Cat, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Thanks. Glad to be here.
Do you think, and this is random, but do you think that the fact that your name, what is it? It's alliteration where it's the two first letters are the same. Do you think that that's gotten, made your name more recognizable through your career?
Well, if this is me having a recognizable name, it's not working very well.
It's about to take off. These Sam Sessions, man. These Sam. So
this is going to be the one that puts it over the top.
You'll be doing Madison Square Garden by.
Should I turn? Am I too sideways to the camera? Okay,
yeah, it should be fine.
Okay.
Do you like your side profile?
I just like to be able to see you when
I
you're
appreciate it. Yeah.
talking to me. It seems like it would be weird if I was not.
We're cheating.
We were
out.
having a conversation, facing away from each other.
Yeah, we don't have to do the whole Jimmy Fallon thing. I personally, I can't stand my side profile. It's just never been my favorite thing. So
Okay.
I got to find like a happy medium here.
That's fair.
No, you're great. So you are from Indiana,
Yep.
which I knew beforehand. I didn't ask before we started the show or anything. And you found yourself in Austin now. I'm curious what brought you to Austin. Was it a music purpose or was there something else behind it?
Yeah, so my dad used to own a music store in Indiana, and every now and then they would have the summer NAMM show, which is like the big, music trade show in Austin. And so I'd been down here for that, and I knew there was like a good music scene, but also like a diverse music scene, more different kinds of music than like, going to Nashville or something, or even like Boston. So yeah, I'd been down here and checked out the music scene and thought this would be a cool place. And I went to Texas State in San Marcos.
Okay, very
cool.
So
I was, looking at places to go to school.
Interesting. I find that very unique that your dad used to own a guitar store because so does mine. He currently
That's true. Yeah, we have that in common.
Yeah, currently owns one. I, for one, tried maybe 20 or 40 times growing up to pick up guitar, and I never stuck with it. And I'm not exactly sure why. But what about guitar do you think that you were able to stick with it and become a talented musician?
I think that I was always like a very inward person, and having some sort of means to channel that was really good for me. Made a lot of stuff make sense. And like when I didn't start playing till I was, I think, like 14. So a little late, I guess, compared to a lot of people who start when they're just like babies,
Sure.
But my whole dad's side of the family was musical too, so there was like a lot of encouragement as well. But yeah, I think just having like an outlet to make inner stuff outer, so to speak,
Sure.
was really good. I felt like that I could be more myself in that way, where it's like, language comes with all the like speaking like we're speaking now comes with the burden of like having to mean something or have some connection to like the rational mind. And so that feels almost like a second language to me, whereas like being able to think in more like, or not even because it's not really even thinking, but being able to have, this inner world of abstractions is always something that was normal and natural to me, and something that lends itself very well to music, especially improvising music, which is something that is a main focus for me, I'd say.
And wow, that's very intriguing. So it was kind of your early way of expressing yourself.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
Being able to speak in what felt like more of a native tongue.
Did you spend? I'm assuming you did, but did you spend a lot of time in the guitar shop growing up that your dad worked?
Every day, pretty much.
Yeah.
After school, we would go. Pretty much my life in high school was go to school, go to the music store, and then go play a gig with
Wow.
my dad's band. Bands around town and stuff, and like cover bands and stuff. But yeah, I was in the music store all the time and took a bunch of lessons there. And also because musicians were always coming through and people were always very kind about showing me stuff.
Right.
You know, seeing somebody who's really interested in music and has the desire to learn and to put the time in. People always showed me all kinds of stuff. I taught there from like very early in playing guitar. I mean, like not even a year into playing guitar, I started teaching, because it's like, if you know a little bit, you know more than somebody who knows nothing.
Yeah.
So I taught a bunch of lessons, and I still teach, and I love teaching.
And so I find the business side of things really intriguing. Did you ever gravitate towards that, or were you pretty purely invested in playing and learning more about music?
Yeah, no, I'm not a business person really at all. I was very attracted to like painters and poets as a kid, and I felt like music could maybe express even a deeper layer of humanity, or of being alive, or whatever you want to say. So I always approached it more from that perspective, is like a poet or a painter or a musician. To me, those are all the same things. It's just a different medium.
I love the appreciation that you have for it. It's cool, and it shows in your craft for sure. Speaking of, your style of playing, as I understand, is pretty unique. How did you intentionally develop this unique style of playing, or is it something that just kind of came up with you over time?
I think just being interested in music and being interested in a lot of different kinds of music, and being interested in people and different kinds of people too.
Sure.
I think it all goes hand in hand. I think this is a quote I'm stealing from somebody, but it's that you're no more or less a musician than you are a human being. And I think that is very true. So I've just always been interested in a lot of music and in people, and so I want to know about them and know about the music and everything that goes with that. And I think it just developed out of that, and being interested in it and thinking about it and playing every day, all the time. And now for me, there's no real difference between like just living and playing music. They're all the same. It's all just a different, like I said, a different medium for the same thing.
Well, what are some of your main inspirations when it comes to music?
Oh man, I've been making a list, a big list, but it's got like over 100 people at this point. I don't think I would be good at narrowing it down.
Right.
But yeah, it would be tough. But like I said, a lot of non-music people are big inspirations to me too, like the painter Agnes Martin.
Oh, no
and
kidding.
The author James Joyce. I played a lot of country music as a young person, so I was always attracted to the steel guitar and especially pedal steel. Like Buddy Emmons was a big hero, and Jimmy Day, and all the greats. Who a lot of those guys are from around the Indiana area too. Funny enough. But I always liked the people that were inventing things. Like Joseph K. Cuckoo, who invented the Hawaiian steel guitar.
Yeah.
Or like John Cage or Hermeto Pascual. People like that I like, who are more like musical inventors, was what I've always been most attracted to. Even, I mean, to say Buck Owens would be accurate.
Is there anything more you could say on that as far as like what about the artist inspires you specifically?
Yeah, anything that points you towards something interesting. I think interest is the main driver of life and of music. Anything that you're interested in is going to create something new, because nobody is like a straight reproduction. So anything that's coming into your mind is going to be filtered in a new way. It's going to create something new. And I like that process of transformation. I think the two sort of joint processes of transformation and of fusion are two of the most important things in music. And those are two things that I've been very interested in. So it's like I love Buddy Emmons, and so I've listened to that music and listened to the way that he moves pitches around, or the way that he, his certain harmonic ideas. And for me, I would take that, and I'm not Buddy Emmons, I'm a different person, and so I would put it in a different context, and it would totally change it. But at the same time, it's fusing with everything that is within me already. Sorry, I forgot what your question was.
No, it was great. It was great. I mean, you definitely answered it. It was just like I was saying, I find it super interesting to, ask a musician what their inspirations are and drop a couple names of people that don't play music. I think that's cool. It's also something that people should keep in mind, whatever whatever avenue you want to go down in life doesn't mean you should ignore other things. You can draw from a little bit of everything.
Definitely, yeah. And like I said, it just goes along. Music is so much about like cultivating this inner world, but it's also about the kind of manifestation of that inner world in super concrete reality in a way that has an effect on people, where it's like, if you're looking at a paint, a lot of times when you're talking about like writing or paintings or things like that, to a certain extent, you have to apply yourself to it to get the full effect. Whereas music is something that directly applies itself to you. It's going to affect you no matter what. And, if you apply yourself to it, you're going to get a deeper response. But that's something that I think is interesting, and why I think that music is so much an analogy for other art forms like Kandinsky or Paul Klee. Those are two painters that I really liked, and they often use the analogy of music in a way that I think is, you can easily go in both directions with it.
knowing a little bit about your background, where you come from, currently you're playing with White Denim, and I'm curious, how did you get that gig? Put it simply.
Well, kind of through Instagram. Excuse me. Because I, just post like videos and shit of me playing. And James Petrali from White Denim one day liked a bunch of my videos and sent me a message like that it'd be fun to hang sometime and come. He had a studio called Radio Milk in Austin at that point. And so he invited me and the great Austin jazz drummer Daniel Dufour to come. And I think the idea initially was that we were going to be like playing on this George Harrison tune, but it turned into just me and Dan just improvising tunes the whole day.
Wow.
Which turned into a record that I put out called Ghost Stories for Dancing. And that's how I first met James. And then he called me back to play on a few sessions and just to hang and like talk about music or do some writing or whatever. And we got to be good buddies. And the first, I remember where I was at when he texted me about the first gig. I was checking another great guitar. I don't know. Have you guys done one with David Jimenez yet?
Mm-mm.
No,
Oh, you should hit David up.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Yeah.
But I was watching him play at Half Step, which I don't even know if that's still there anymore, over on Rainy Street.
Yeah. Probably not if it's on Rainy.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, James texted me if I wanted to play Mohawk with them. I was, I'd love to.
Yeah.
And me and the current drummer, Matt Young, that was our first gig together at the same time. And that was in September 2020, and been playing and writing and all that with them since.
Wow. So you're 4 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Almost to the
it's
month
crazy.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Has time flown with them?
It's been great. I've learned so much from hanging with James and all those guys, because everybody in the group is like a total fucking genius. Like,
right.
Just the, top peak, not just like, virtuoso players, but like really deep human beings and minds. And I've learned a ton from hanging with all of them. And I think it's also given me like the freedom to not have to spread myself so thin with like a bunch of other projects as well. Like now I pretty much just do White Denim and my own stuff. And my wife, Selena Rosenbaum, I play with her too. She's got a group called Rosie and the Ramblers, like cool. A country band. And that's pretty much all the, like quote unquote gigging stuff I do now. I just teach and do that stuff. So that's been nice to have that freedom. But yeah, no, it's flown by, and I've grown so much as a person and a musician through it. It's been great. Yeah.
So in your time with White Denim, when you look back on, what you guys have done so far, are there any particular moments that are like, huge in your head and really highlighted?
We did a record with this guy, Ray's Regal, and it was basically like White Denim and him, and getting to see the kind of behind the scenes process of a record being made at like the highest level was really great for me. Like I learned a ton. That was great. And the making of this next album that comes out in December.
Okay.
It's just called 12. It's the 12th White Denim studio record. But that's the first like official White Denim one besides the Rays record that I'm on.
Okay. Very exciting.
But that's been great. And just hanging with the guy, like so much I've got from just hanging and talking about music with people. Like it's really nice to have people who you can speak in the most sincere and I don't want to say deep, like I'm coming from this like deep place, but you know what I mean? Like the most sincere, like real part of yourself, like interact with people who like really see that and understand that and are coming from like a similar place in their own way.
Definitely
has been really, really great.
Well, and I think anybody that knows you would definitely agree. You have a unique way of thinking and a unique way of going about things. So yeah, I think anybody would agree with that.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I mean is talking to other people who also have like a unique way of thinking and going about things.
Definitely
is wonderful.
I bet. Yeah. Found your crowd. That's cool. You guys mesh in that way. I'm curious. So you and your wife are in a band together.
Yeah. I'd really just play guitar. She writes all the songs. And
okay.
Stuff.
And what was the name of that again?
Rosie and the Ramblers. She also plays under her own name, Selena Rosenbaum. This last record that she put out is just under Selena Rosenbaum, and it's great. I played guitar on it. I play bass with her sometimes too. I'm just sort of the utility
Yeah.
husband.
That's awesome. That's great. So I wonder what are some of like the positives of being, playing with your wife, somebody that's so close to you.
Well, it's great. Like, I feel like the most positive thing is for me as a musician, having someone that understands like the life of what being a musician is and like what that entails. She's like so understanding of that, and because she's doing the same thing and dealing with the same thing. That's like the best thing, and it's just fun. Like, to get to play music together is fun because it's just us hanging out, like, and getting paid to do it.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Do you guys have any shows coming up with that?
I'm not sure. I'm the worst person ever with my calendar. I really have to look at it to even know what's going on tomorrow.
That's funny. And that doesn't like surprise me a whole lot. And earlier you were talking about how you're not necessarily so into the business side of things.
For better. I'm not saying that's a good thing for sure. It would be good to be more oriented that way. But it's not my inclination.
It's like left brain and right brain kind of situation, right? And obviously, you being such a creative, that's really what matters for sure. Do you have anybody that helps out when it comes to booking shows or working social media or anything?
Oh gosh, I wish, but no. It's a one-man operation.
Yeah. Well, and I guess with White Denim, that's kind of more of a band collective, right?
That's nice. I don't have to worry about booking gigs.
So, I guess, how long have you been playing guitar now? It's a couple times?
So I'm 32.
Okay.
And I started when I was 14. So what is that?
16?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well,
17.
18, right? Is that right?
18.
Uh-huh.
Is it 18? I'm looking for you.
How many musicians does it take from 14 to 32?
Yeah, two musicians and just an interviewer. Yeah.
So close to 20 years.
Definitely. What would you say is some of like the most quality thing that you've learned in your time of playing? If somebody came up to you and they're like getting into guitar, what piece of advice would you give them?
I think just learning to speak and think in music just makes your whole life richer and deeper. Like I said, this is like music, what we're doing right now.
Right.
We're having a conversation in the same way that I would if I was playing music with somebody. So what's the difference? It's just that we're not using guitars. We're just using just us.
Right.
So I think that is one of that's why I love teaching so much too. It's like, I love teaching people from total beginners to and I like being able to have an inner language that's deeper than like the rational verbal language, I think is one of the greatest gifts of music.
Yeah, I like that answer a lot, and I think it continues to tell more about you and your way of thinking, which I find super interesting and unique. So thanks for doing this, Cat. I mean,
absolutely,
it's a
man.
pleasure.
It's a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, it's great to get to know you a little bit more, and look forward to seeing you more in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Cat. Cheers.